Have you ever found yourself trapped in a loop, endlessly replaying a conversation in your head? Or perhaps you've spent hours, maybe even days, worrying about a future that hasn't even arrived? If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. This is the grip of overthinking, a relentless thief that steals your peace, moment by moment. Today, I want to share a story with you. It's the story of Ravi, a man whose mind was a constant storm of thoughts, and how he finally found his calm. Ravi was just like many of us. He worked in a small office, put in his best effort every single day, and tried to do everything right. But as soon as his head hit the pillow at night, the internal monologue would begin. His mind would churn, replaying every single interaction, every decision, every possibility. Did I say the wrong thing in that meeting? What if my boss didn't like my presentation? What if I get fired tomorrow? What if I'm just not good enough? These weren't just passing thoughts. They were heavy chains that bound him to a state of perpetual anxiety. Even on good days, when everything went smoothly, his mind would find a way to create a problem, a potential disaster lurking just around the corner. The joy of the present was always overshadowed by the fear of a future he couldn't control. His mind was a battlefield, and he was losing the war against himself. Peace felt like a distant, unattainable dream. One sunny afternoon, seeking a moment of escape, Ravi wandered down to a quiet spot by the river that flowed at the edge of his town. There, sitting peacefully on a smooth, flat rock, was an old monk. The monk's face was etched with the lines of time and wisdom, and his eyes held a serene sparkle. As Ravi approached, the monk looked up, his gaze gentle and knowing. He observed the deep furrows on Ravi's brow and the tension in his shoulders. "Young man," the monk's voice was soft, like the rustling of leaves. "Why does your mind look so much heavier than your body?" Ravi was taken aback by the question but felt an immediate sense of comfort. He let out a long, weary sigh, a sound that seemed to carry the weight of 1,000 worries. "Because it never stops, venerable sir," Ravi confessed. "It just keeps thinking and worrying and spinning. I'm exhausted." The monk offered a compassionate smile. "I understand," he said. "Come, sit here beside me." Ravi sat down on the grassy bank. The monk then picked up a small, smooth pebble from the ground and placed it in Ravi's palm. "Hold this stone," the monk instructed, "and when you are ready, throw it into the river with all your might." Ravi clutched the stone, feeling its cool, solid weight. He took a deep breath and hurled it into the middle of the river. Splash! The stone disappeared and a series of ripples spread outwards, disturbing the water's glassy surface. They watched in silence as the ripples grew wider and fainter, until finally, the river was perfectly still again, reflecting the clear blue sky. The monk turned to Ravi. "Did you see that? Do you see how the water, after a moment of disturbance, returned to its natural state of calm? That water is like your mind." Ravi looked at the monk, confused. "What do you mean?" The monk continued. "When a thought, like that stone, falls into your mind, it creates ripples. It shakes everything up. But the water doesn't fight the ripples. It simply allows them to be, and in time, it settles. Your mind can do the same. If you stop throwing more stones, more thoughts, more worries into it, it will naturally become peaceful again." Ravi frowned, shaking his head. "But that's the problem. I can't stop the thoughts from coming. I try to fight them, to push them away, but they just get stronger." The monk's smile widened. "Ah, but that is your mistake. You don't need to control them. You don't need to fight them. You only need to watch them." He explained further. "Imagine you are sitting on this riverbank, and your thoughts are like leaves floating by on the water. You don't have to jump in and grab every leaf. You don't have to analyze where it came from or where it's going. You can simply sit here and observe them as they drift past. Acknowledge them. Ah, there is a thought of worry. Then let it float away. There is a thought of fear. Let it go too. When you stop engaging, when you stop fighting with your thoughts and simply become the silent observer, they lose their power over you. They are just thoughts, not your reality. Ravi sat there, the monk's words washing over him like the gentle current of the river. He listened to the sound of the flowing water, the chirping of birds, the whisper of the wind. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, the incessant chatter in his head began to fade. A profound quiet settled within him. He realized in that moment that peace was never truly lost. It was just buried under an avalanche of his own making. From that day forward, Ravi's life began to change. The overthinking didn't vanish overnight, but now he had a tool, a new perspective. Whenever he felt the storm of worry brewing in his mind, he wouldn't fight it. Instead, he would close his eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and visualize that calm, flowing river. He would imagine his thoughts as leaves drifting by, and he would let them go, one by one. He would gently repeat to himself the monk's wisdom: peace begins when the thoughts end. He learned to be the watcher, not the thinker. He started noticing the small joys he had been missing: the taste of his morning tea, the warmth of the sun on his face, the kindness in a colleague's smile. Life hadn't changed, but his experience of it had transformed completely. The moral of this story is simple yet profound. Overthinking doesn't solve your problems. It doesn't prepare you for the future or fix the past. All it does is steal the joy from your present. It magnifies your fears and shrinks your happiness. But when you allow your mind to be quiet, life becomes simple and beautiful again. So, the next time you find yourself caught in a spiral of thoughts, I invite you to try this. Stop fighting. Stop struggling. Just take a moment. Breathe. Watch your thoughts as if they are clouds passing in the sky, and let them go. Because the moment you allow your mind to be still, peace will find you. It's been there all along, waiting patiently beneath the noise. Remember, sometimes the most powerful and productive thing you can do is simply to not think so much. Thank you for joining me for this story. If it resonated with you and you'd like to hear more simple English stories with powerful life lessons, please consider subscribing to our channel. Every story is a small step towards helping you grow, calmly, slowly, and beautifully. We appreciate you being here. Until next time, be well.